You know the floating traffic light, the crowbar, the duck?
The corrupted items.
That's right. Do you know how you're supposed to destroy those?
I do.
Is this because you played Control?
No, this is because I Googled it. Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of everyone's favorite podcast, the Critical Arcade Podcast. I'm your co-host, Nick.
And I'm Dave.
Hello, Dave.
Hello, Nick. Are you well?
Yes, I am well. I've also recently thought of my favorite video game studio and how that's changed over the years. You know, when you were kids, it's always Nintendo.
Oh, Sega for me, but I get that.
Okay, Sega for you. That's good. That's good.
I got you.
Now where I'm at,
yeah,
it's changed to something I would never have guessed.
Okay, do tell. Who?
So, in recent months, I've completed the first Alan Wake as well as Control.
Yeah.
And I am absolutely entranced by those two games.
Just those two games. Out of curiosity, who held the mantle before it? Like FromSoft?
Yes, FromSoft.
So FromSoft has been dethroned by Remedy then, by all accounts.
For now.
Wow.
I think it's just...
to think that that's two games that dethroned, what, like 4 or 5 or whatever, how many... I think you played all of them, right?
I did. Dark Souls 1, 2, 3, Sekiro, Bloodborne. Oh, man.
And
Elden Ring.
Right, yeah.
Oh, damn. Okay, no, FromSoft's.
And the memories of those games just went, okay, wait a minute. Maybe not dethroned. Right,
oh, damn, no, those are, okay, you know what? It's gonna be a tie situation. But what I'm trying to get at is the games that Remedy made, the first Alan Wake, the remastered version specifically, and Control. Somehow, the worlds that they made, the atmosphere they created, the stories, the narrative, the characters, just struck a chord with me.
And you haven't even played Max Payne yet, though, right?
I've not played Max Payne, nor Quantum Break, nor the one that got away. Alan Wake 2.
Alan Wake, granted, that I'm sure is on your to-do list, right, by all accounts.
Oh, absolutely. Once I get enough moolah, I'm going to get Alan Wake 2.
Yeah.
And I'm going to play it 11 at night.
Yeah, in the dark, that's right. I've watched clips of that game. Again, scary game's not really my thing. There's some moments in that are definitely memorable, to say the least.
Hell yeah.
I look forward to you when you're playing. I'm sure you're going to enjoy it.
Oh, hell yeah. That's how I played the Dead Space remake. Incredible remake, by the way.
Yeah, again, just not touching it. I watched, like, the idea of the whole premise of that game. Space.
Which one? Dead Space or Alan Wake 2?
Either. One is I don't know, which one's worse? Space station that's dead with mutated things.
You say worse!
And then the other one is a scary, you can only kill bad guys with your torch, but your torch runs out of batteries.
Yeah. And you're in the middle of New York, I think.
Yeah, that neither of those scenarios makes me go, oh yeah, that sounds fun.
Oh, hell yeah.
But I do get the storytelling. The storytelling is very good, and Remedy is known for very good storytelling. I think this is a fantastic segue into what game we're playing, right?
What, the story for Remedy games?
Yeah.
I guess so. How about, Dave, how about you tell us what did we play for this week?
Okay, I take a bit of umbrage to played. Played means you have to enjoy it. But anyway, we're playing FBC, which is the Federal Bureau of Control, right? Is the FBC, and then Firebreak is the name of the game. It's I'm sure it's a game everybody's heard about. It's on the internet and everywhere at the moment. It is created by Remedy Entertainment, which did Max Payne 2. They didn't do. Did you know they didn't do Max Payne 3? That was Rockstar.
I told you that.
Did you tell me that? I'm still shocked by that to this day.
Yes,
but
they didn't
another
do
fun
that.
little thing
Rockstar
they did do. When were you born, Nick? I forget. 1996.
1993.
Okay, so you were 3. Oh, damn, all right. I remember playing in 1996 on a demo disc. I don't know if you remember demo discs.
Oh, jeez. Yes, I had demo discs.
I had demo disc of a game called Death Rally. which was just like a tabletop micro machines type rally thing where you dropped mines and shot things.
Oh,
and
nice.
I was obsessed with that game. And I found out Remedy made that game. I'm so shocked.
No.
I fell in love with Remedy in 1996 on a demo disc of Death
That's
Rally.
incredible.
I still play that today. I love that game.
It sounds vaguely familiar. I might have played it 10 years too late.
I think they redid it again, like as a little homage
okay.
to the old school. But again, it made me smile just finding out that Remedy did Death Rally. I loved that game as a kid.
Remedy's been around for what sounds like 30 or more than 30 years.
It's got to be about 30
but
or
it's
so years.
only in the last decade or two, 15 years or so, that they've really honed in on what makes them special, their writing.
Yes, yeah, again, narratively based. Yeah,
I don't know when Sam Lake started at Remedy. It must have been like 15, 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
But ever since then, the writing for their games have taken off.
Yeah, and they've pushed some boundaries and made it weird, and they
Yes.
weren't scared to make it what everybody loves instead of just a bit strange. And this game is, again, this is a what's it called? A sequel to Control to some degree, right? Because this is set after
spin-off.
A spin-off, but it's set after the events of Control.
Yeah.
Right? Because if I'm not mistaken, I've not played Control. I know the premise is you're sorry, that's going to be very vague. You're that woman.
Your director Jesse Faden.
Thank you, director Jesse Faden. You gain superpowers. I've seen her fly around. I've seen her throw crap around. She's kind of like super powered, right?
Yes. You gain control of an interdimensional gun after Director Trench offs himself. And through this gun and the power of the oldest house, you gain the powers.
And at the end of that game, do you open up like chaos or something like that? Because the description of this game is it's set 6 years after the Control, and it follows a special unit of soldiers named Firebreak, and they have to help clean up the after effects of supposedly what happened in Control. At least that's my understanding of it. Is that right?
It's been a while since I've completed Control. I played the AWE expansion this past year. But, yes, you never actually get to meet the Firebreak teams. You meet all the other teams except for Firebreak.
Oh, interesting. Is it suggested in Control that
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Firebreak
cool.
in the Control universe the easiest way to understand who they are would be they are the oldest house's first responders.
Okay, yeah, I got you.
Right,
yeah.
So if something breaks out, Firebreak's there in 5 minutes.
Okay, yeah, they're the one closing it down. They're the ones using the nebulizers, like from
yes.
things. Yeah,
yep.
I got you.
Yeah, that's Firebreak, and that's been Firebreak since Control's release in 2019?
Yeah, it's got a few years now, but yeah, okay, I got you now. So that makes sense. And this was Remedy's first multiplayer game. That's the first deluge into the multiplayer sphere.
Yeah, their first foray, which I would like to remind everyone of that fact.
Okay, and again, to this, I think, ladies and gents, you'll notice that Nick and I kind of have two different opinions on this game. But I did like that Remedy said in their press thing in regards to Firebreak that they've designed this game to be an easy pick up and play. None of that daily check-ins and unlocks and diamonds and grab this and make sure you do all these, that complicated.
Isn't that just so refreshing?
Yeah, and none of that like fear of missing out, right? Oh, I got to log in every day. I got to do this and I got to do this event, and it's supposed to be like an online game where you can jump in for a few minutes, knock out a level or two with your friends and enjoy yourself. That was the whole premise.
Yes.
Of it's kind of like multiplayer games used to be back in the day, right?
Exactly.
That was kind of the premise.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what multiplayer used to be, but it's been skewed. It's been skewed to have this added pressure.
Yes.
Where if you're not dedicating your life to this game,
Correct.
you're missing out. And companies
agreed.
are using that. Executives know what they're doing, and they're using that against you. Remedy, they feel like the good guys.
Agreed. I agree that there is none of that in this. That FOMO thing, which is now a marketing side of the things that, again, like you said, is manipulative and kind of mean and all the other things. I agree. So I liked that tag. I was excited. I saw that tag. I saw the interviews. I was like, okay, this is like old school. This is like playing like Quake Arena kind of back in the days. This is where you jammed out with your friends. Okay. again, it's one of those. Should we jump into narrative, even though narrative is going to be the most vague one on here?
You know what? Yes, let's do it. This is such an anomaly because I've played Control. I've read loads of those documents in Control. It's one of those games where you can pick up notes or documents and read through all the lore, but the game's not going to force you to do it. There's a humongous amount of lore in Control.
Yes, I can see that. Same with Alan Wake and stuff as well.
Yes,
right?
exactly. This being a spin-off of that, all those lore is canon in this universe. That's kind of here, but kind of not.
Can I ask, okay, you played I won't dive too in it, but you played all the different game styles. Is that actually all suggested in Control as well? Is there an aspect I'm missing because I haven't played Control?
What do you mean?
Like Firebreak and Paper Chase and all those game modes that you have. Is this actually suggested in the Control universe? Is it actually tied in? Like have you seen documents in Control or an audio diary or whatever they do that suggests these pearls from those leech things or whatever? Is this all lore that it's expanded upon, or is this new lore just for this game?
It's new. Okay. These are most of these are new elements.
Oh, okay. So it is. So you don't really need to have played Control to fully understand like the story.
No, absolutely not. No, absolutely not. Some of this is in Control. Like there's a couple of rooms just covered in sticky notes. And, it looks weird. And then you move on. And then there's another room that just goes through a doorway. And all of a sudden, you're in the middle of this rock cave in space.
Yes,
and then you go through a door, and then you're back in the bureau.
Okay,
It's just a cool set. And then you move on from it in Control. Whereas in Firebreak, they took those sets, and they made full game mechanics around them.
Yes, I can see that. I see what you mean in regards to it.
Yeah.
So like you said, narrative in this game isn't really going to be that fleshed out because it's an online multiplayer game.
No.
It's you just need a reason to be there, really.
Exactly.
Right?
But weirdly, there is this mountain of lore attached to this game just from another game. It's odd. It's weird.
Yes,
it's
agreed. But ladies and gentlemen, by all accounts, again, the narrative here is you're a team of 3 players taking on the role of Federal Bureau of Control's Firebreak, and you're a containment team that must venture into the oldest house to eliminate various human enemies controlled by the extra-dimensional hiss. Is extra-dimensional hiss a thing in Control that I didn't know? Is this the...
Yes, that's the main enemy.
Oh, that isn't...
That's the main enemy in Control, those red zombie things. The hiss is absolutely the main enemy in Control.
Oh,
so the hiss make a return here. And I'm gonna assume that the hiss are gonna be the main antagonists for Control 2 as well.
Yes, of course, it makes sense. It would all tie in. So okay, so that's all lore ties into Control, and your job is just to contain the weird goings on that's going on, right?
Yeah, you need to keep it contained, which you're failing at because the FBC is in lockdown.
Yes, correct, yeah.
And there's this suggestion that during this spin-off, it's in lockdown, and somewhere else in the oldest house, director Jessie Faden, the protagonist of the previous game, is doing her best to clean up what needs to be cleaned up, and get everyone, like, home.
Okay, so is she wants to save everyone as well, or just hide everything so it doesn't get out? She actually wants to be the good guy.
There's this in Control. Fair enough. There was this big underlying rule that was implied but never spoken that whoever's inside the Bureau of Control, whoever's in charge only thinks they have control. But ever since the beginning of time, and this and this oldest house has been there, it has always had control.
Okay, yeah. Somebody else is always pulling the strings, right?
Like, exactly. And that person ultimately is always going to be the Bureau itself.
Yes, okay. I see that. I can see that. That's
it's trying to wrangle.
Yeah.
Yes, Jessie Faden's trying to wrangle the unwrangleable.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Strangely enough, it reminds me of the Doom. Doom 3 had the scientists trying to control Mars and hell and stuff like that for reasons.
Strange,
it's the same overarching that they're trying to control something that's uncontrollable fundamentally, right?
Instead of ultra aggressive violence, this is just like intrigue and mystery.
Yes, exactly. Got you.
And dark corners.
Okay, so let's jump into the visuals then. What do you think the visuals of this game?
You know what? While the visual fidelity isn't the best or the highest, this can clearly... I think this can run on a PS4. Did this release on a PS4?
Right. Yeah, I don't know, actually. Was it?
I can see this releasing on a PS4.
For some reason, my mind just thinks PS4 is no longer supported and games aren't coming out for it.
No!
I know that's weird.
If you bought that thing back in 2013, they released Elden Ring Night Train for the PS4.
Yeah, no, I saw that the other day. I guess it's very kind of like PlayStation 5 elitist, but like the PlayStation 4 doesn't exist anymore.
You can't be elitist, Dave!
I know, right? No, but I'm guessing it released on 4 because, like you said, it's not graphically too intense to be released on 4.
No, but you know what? That isn't the only factor for having a good-looking game anymore.
Very true.
Maybe 15 years ago, sure. If you wanted your game to look good, you had to have the most polygons. That's not
exactly.
The case anymore.
Very true.
Okay. The visual style is the same as Control, albeit it takes itself a bit less serious.
I was going to say the same thing. Is this the same level of detail and stuff in Control? Control's a bit better, right? Because that was designed for newer generations, wasn't it? Or am I wrong?
A bit better.
Oh, okay.
I don't. No, I can't remember. I think Control's much bigger. It's much bigger.
Yes.
And everything you could pick up and throw.
Yeah, that's right. I've seen those videos.
You know what? I think it's about the same. The levels are just smaller here.
Okay, that's kind of cool. I like that they're keeping it on the same level and stuff like that. But I played this game and I was doing that. I was writing my notes and doing the reviews, and I think to myself that if I write a bad thing, I've got to look for good things, right? Can't just go looking for bad things and not seeing the good, right?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
You try. Oh, I try. I swore. Let me just point at the first bad thing. The bad guys are all the same.
Yeah. Yes. I got that too.
It's a wave of zombies. It's security guards with guns who can't shoot for to save their lives. Floating guys in chairs, which I'm still not sure what they did when they attacked you. Big security guard with a guy hung up on his back. Some post-it note thing.
Yep.
But
you're right. I got the same, and I counted. There's only 6.
Yes, I can imagine.
Only 6, and I got the floating ones as flying with chair hiss and flying without chair hiss.
Yeah, and this sounds like okay. You say Helldivers has only got like 12 different enemies, but these are just waves of the same thing again and again and again and again.
It really is.
And it's just not visually pleasing to be, halfway through or coming to the end and, keep an eye on this and make sure you don't get overwhelmed. And it's the same guys and it's the same floating hiss chair guys. And you're just like, oh my, come on.
Please, sir, can I get a bit more hiss?
And again, I was looking for good. Paper chase, right? Got some whimsy to it. I like the whole post-it note.
Oh, yeah. On paper, it's...
Right, yeah, that's fun.
It could be
You're getting covered in post-it notes, and if you're not careful, you could be consumed by post-it notes. It was a fun idea, visual thing to see the post-it notes go on your screen whilst you're getting too amongst it. I thought that was fun. Good idea. It got boring later on, but good idea. But was it hot fix? The bad guy, so to speak, was just a furnace.
That's right, a big old furnace.
It was a hot furnace, which you cooled down.
Yes.
And then you closed the door.
Yes.
Now, I'll give it to the credit. The paper chase one, big post-it monster. Great. Brilliant. I enjoyed that. Something different. The first one was a furnace. You had to cool it down and switch it off.
You know what? Can I just... Okay, I'm gonna... You've not finished Control.
No.
There's as I mentioned before, the big bad guy of Control and the one who actually has control is the Bureau itself, right?
I thought you were going to say, is a big furnace.
A big furnace.
It's just this huge sentient
hot.
furnace. Okay,
Yes,
so go on.
yes,
Is
it's
the Bureau
roasting
itself?
its own marshmallows.
Yeah, right? It's just a big angry furnace
No,
like
this
from Disney or
idea
something.
is that the real antagonist is the house itself. The one that
Yeah.
actually has control is the house. So, I mean, I know in a video gamey sense, big post-it monster is cool, but
Yeah.
in the canon of control, the enemy being a furnace makes much more sense than a big post-it monster.
Okay, I get you. So then again, by all accounts, playing Control has made the visual experience better for you then, because you can
Yes.
you can tie the things together. Whereas myself, who doesn't know any of this, just sees a big furnace or big
Correct.
bubblegum on a
Yes.
turbine, or
It's
just-
made some of them better.
Yes, yeah, exactly. But not by a big degree, by the sound of things.
No.
Like, it's and I thought, again, I was looking for the goods. When you're the fixer dude, I thought it was funny that you just whacked it with your wrench to fix things. I thought that was at least comical. I thought,
That would not have flown in Control. It takes itself
yes.
way too seriously
Yeah, I
in
get-
Control.
I can see
Your
that.
gun has monologues in Control.
well, that's super serious. So I get there's whimsy in this game,
Yeah.
but I am struggling for that not to be the entirety of the visual good part.
I get it.
Because-
I absolutely get it. Totally. Because they took the idea of a level full of post-its.
Yeah.
It's cool. It works on paper. Whoa, look at that. It's funny. What's the mystery? But when you actually need to put in the elbow grease of shooting
Yeah, no,
30,000 different post-it notes.
I thought I was doing it wrong, you know? I thought, okay, I'll shoot them, and it went poof, and I thought, okay, this must be the worst way of doing it. There must
Yes.
be a better way of doing it. And then I was running around and squidging it with my water pistol and stuff like that, and nothing seemed to be doing it any better than shooting it. And I thought, oh, so I'm supposed to shoot... this is kind of gameplay, but I'm supposed to just shoot them, am I? And they go, pff.
Can I tell you how the absolute best way to deal with it?
Oh, go on. How was it? Yeah.
If you get a cluster of post-it notes, in some
Yes.
spaces there's just one massive pool of post-it notes,
Yes,
and
yeah.
you wet all of them.
Yeah.
The jumper is supposed to electrocute one, and it just electrocutes all of those post-it notes.
Oh, I did not see that in this. I guess I possibly never played with the jumper. I never really, to be honest with you, teammates, I didn't pay much attention to those either. So you're supposed to combine the different job types, right? And so they have like combination effects and the like, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
But people are dumb.
Was this explained anywhere, out of curiosity?
No. It's
That's
one
what
of
I
those
mean.
cases where you kind of need to figure it out for yourself.
Well, you say that. You know, I can't remember what they were called now, so I'm divulging a little bit. You know the floating traffic light, the crowbar, the duck.
The corrupted items.
That's right. Do you know how you're supposed to destroy those?
I do.
Is this because you played Control?
No, this is because I Googled it.
Yeah, because about 6 games, I had no idea what... I did not get what that was. I thought, okay, I get that the traffic light, green and red light, and imposed disabilities to you and all this stuff.
Yep.
But they were just getting in the way. And for ages, I was like, what is the point of these visually being here? And then I saw someone with the Black Rock gun, right? That's the way.
it.
Is Black Rock a thing in Control? Is that a new thing for?
You know what?
Firebreak?
You know, Control's one of those weird games where there are so many different leads, and the point of them is just to get your imagination running.
Yeah.
There might have been a BlackRock something that Remedy just puts in there to have people think, "Ooh, well, isn't this cool?"
Yeah,
but
okay,
no,
yes.
there was no point in Control where BlackRock was
Okay.
a MacGuffin in the narrative.
And again, this wasn't explained anywhere, the Black Rock thing. Or am I mad? Was I missing diaries or something like that I was supposed to read and then pick this up?
I read somewhere, I can't remember where, I read somewhere that you need to dispose of those corrupted items with a specific item. I read it once. I think it disappeared before I could finish the sentence.
Oh, okay.
And then... So I knew in my head, okay, so there is a specific way to deal with these corrupted items.
Yeah.
but I never figured out how until I Googled it.
Yeah, I just saw somebody else do it, and I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, okay. Well, that's maybe how it comes around. So you learnt about it naturally during the flow of the game.
Well, yeah, I would agree to that, but okay, yeah, okay, and like anything visually like you saw that you enjoyed, like good or bad.
Yeah, I enjoyed when there were a couple dozen zombies on screen, and I could just. And they were, and a horde was chasing us down. I enjoyed seeing that.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that visual.
But it wasn't. Sorry, this is going to be such a weird. But it's not Helldivers, is it? I never had the thrill of Helldivers.
No.
And I kind of felt like it was trying to be a bit Helldivery.
Oh, did you?
Just again, you had to collect samples, which is kind of the same thing that you had to do Helldivers. Again, this is gameplay. The weird mechanic of which you have to type things in, I think, was supposed to give you a franticness that you're being chased down, and you have to do that. I'll come to that with gameplay. Again, I'm trying to think visually. And this game does this thing, ladies and gents, where you get hotfix level 1, and then like hotfix level 2 and hotfix level 3.
That's gameplay.
And when you complete number 1, and you think, okay, level 2 is going to be different. It's going to be really different because... You know, the first one's the one you ease into. You learn the mechanics.
Oh, I get what you mean. It looks different.
Right? And you think, yeah, next one, it's going to look different. It's going to be a whole new mechanic. And you go in, and it's not. It's the same thing. Just kind of extended.
Yeah. Yes, the biggest culprit to this is frequency shift. Most levels, the third level is a kind of a boss.
Yes.
In frequency shift, the third level is just the first and second again.
Yeah, it's, again, this is gameplay, ladies and gents, sorry. It just ties in so much to the visuals. There's just bubblegum everywhere is one of them. And you're just shooting it. And if you get covered in pink stuff, bubblegum, whatever it is, you could explode if you got hit. And that wasn't much of an issue because you just wet yourself with a water gun, that is, or had a shower.
Yep.
And so none of the things the only thing that always kicked my ass was fire. Fire.
Really?
I died more in the furnace levels and hot fixes than any of the other ones by far.
You know what? I think most people did.
Yeah, because of that last room and the weird flares up. And
because if you're not shooting yourself with a water gun, which most people don't realize you can do,
exactly.
You're just gonna burn to death.
And the only real way, maybe it's just me that I know that I was on fire, was that little round, dot near your health. Because half the time I didn't know I was on fire. I was running around thinking, "Oh God, am I burning?" And then I'm dead. Granted, visually, I guess you could call that a con, but it's just you're gonna hear a theme, ladies and gents. In my God, this game's boring. I'm sorry, it's boring. This game is boring. I'm just laying it all out now. I was bored.
Hard disagree.
No, okay. Anything visually you want to add then?
Just that. Just a little nitpick.
Go on.
Because of the Firebreak team was never showed in Control, whenever they was spoken of, I thought, oh, okay, they look like this put together SWAT team.
Yes, okay, that's right.
Which
that's right,
isn't it couldn't be more far.
No, agreed.
It couldn't be more wrong. These are some scrappy guys that seemed like they just took the first things they could find in their garage.
Yes, exactly. They look like that cheesy guy in like old like Air Bud movies where now I'm ready to take them, and he built something from his garage and had a welder's helmet on and a hockey stick, stuff like that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Looks like that. And I mean, it's fine. I get what they're going for. I would have liked a tighter squad.
Yeah, I got you. Okay, the next one
visuals.
Is your field of things. It's audio.
Yeah.
And again, I am trying to write nice things on this.
Okay, give us one then. Give us a nice thing of audio.
1 second. I thought... Sorry, this is such... I thought some of the comical one-liners the guy said were somewhat funny. Some of them were.
What do you mean, the player or Jerry or Hank?
The player.
Okay.
Sometimes, I got water in my boots. Or somebody would say, I can't remember what it is now. But I was like, I liked that they talked to themselves.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
That was kind of a nice characterization, personal aspect of doing this crazy stuff that you talk to yourself.
even just that, those voice lines that sound so cartoonish, so over exaggerated, that does not exist in Control.
Yes,
not even at all. Yeah, Control takes itself very seriously.
Yes, I can see that. I've seen clips and videos and stuff, and it is a very serious game.
Yeah, this feels a bit cartoonish compared to that. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I like it as well. I found it entertaining.
No, I agree. That the big one that I'm sure you've written down too, no voice chat.
Yeah, no voice chat.
That's insane.
That is a bummer. That is insane. There are so many times I want to shout at the dumbass players I'm playing with.
But yeah, exactly. Like, I could have found out that the Black Rock gun kills those things instantly if somebody would said, "Oh, the Black Rock gun to use on these," or
I've got one. When the fixer with the wrench in his hand manually fixes things.
Yeah, exactly. Or those barrels, you got to refill a bunch of them before you put them on the zip line bit. Because I was like, "What now?"
Yeah, how do I get them in the furnace? I can't possibly put this barrel on a zip line. That's dumb.
Yes, but it's like we're going backwards. Of course, Night Rain didn't have voice chat. Nintendo has put voice chat as a big push in the Switch 2. Like, haha, check this new technology. It's like the world of voice chat has like been erased, and we went onto a new universe, and it's just been discovered again or something.
The only people who can benefit from this is Discord. That's it.
Yeah, it's very true. I'm sure Discord's numbers must be massively up due to these things.
Yeah.
Because I remember voice chat in old multiplayer games. Yeah, you had to hot press the button and stuff like that. But this isn't. I feel like voice chat in games is really quite old if you went back far enough. Am I mad? Am I making that up?
No. I just think people, game designers have started looking at voice chat as a game design mechanic. Except for Nintendo, who just likes Murney. I know for a fact that they didn't put voice chat in Elden Ring Night Train initially because it would benefit the game design.
Okay, yeah.
Even there's this big. It's like Journey.
Yeah.
I know for a fact Journey would have been ruined if you had voice chat.
Oh, 100%. That I agree. The whole style and the atmosphere of that game, agreed.
So the emittance of voice chat over there got people thinking, wait a minute, what experience would be different if we removed voice chat? I think Elden Ring's one of those, although I would like voice chat in Elden Ring Night Rain. Yeah. But this absolutely needs voice chat.
It really does. You can't even say things like I found the Black Rock gun, or
you can
I'm going
only
to the
ping.
lift.
You can only ping.
Yeah, it's
I'm going left. Just that.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going left. You can't say that.
I'm down. You only really know if you guys, when you turn around and you see the outline, you see, oh god, okay, he's down. Let me go get him.
Yes. Or use the wrench. Anyway,
I'm sure this is one of the things that you've... it's kind of a plus or minus, right? Only a few times is there music, or am I wrong? Like, I was playing
No, that's right. You're right. I got that down as well.
Now, I give you that's kind of like you said, the atmosphere of the house winning and the anomalies, and you're supposed to feel alone and kind of frantic. I kind of get the no music side of things. But later on, like, I swear sometimes when I was just going back to the lift and you kind of get that random one bad guy that you've still got to get rid of before the lift will come to you, I had like a kind of a upbeat tune playing in my ear. And I'm like, I like music, so I enjoyed it on there, but I don't know if this is okay, maybe it's is this lazy or not? Is this intentional and they're doing that and it's actually genius, or was this a bit slapped together?
I wouldn't call it slapped together. I definitely call this intentional but not genius.
Okay. Right. Because it's the same composer of Alan Wake and Control, the guy who did the music for this.
Which is fine. Which makes sense, the music in both of those, and this one's great. I like the tracks in this one. Granted, I can only find 2 or 3 songs.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm surprised. I like them. I'm not surprised, yeah.
But if I can compare this to a game that does it well, it would be Deep Rock Galactic. Have you ever played Deep Rock Galactic?
I was going to suggest that's the dwarf mining with the spiders in the rock thing,
dwarf and mining one. Rock and Stone.
Yes.
that one does what this game's trying to do so much better. So much better.
Yeah, I agree. I again playing this game, I actually thought of Deep Rock Galactic when I'm playing it, and I had that same thought. I was thinking this game is like a worse version of that. That's got the same kind of like digging into holes and not knowing what's around the corner. So
I think Deep Rock Galactic was definitely their biggest inspiration, other than their own games. But in trying to make something different, they made something. I'm gonna have to agree, slightly inferior.
Yeah. And in my mind, bland was one of the words, but I know
not bland.
We got some contention there, but yeah.
I still think the point that I'm trying to get at is when you finish all your objectives, be that level 1, 2, or 3, and you need to have this mad dash back to the elevator.
That's right.
That is by far my most favorite part of the entire game, and that is in large part due to the song that plays in the background.
Yeah, I think I know. I think is it the same song that plays at that part every game, or not?
Every game? Oh no, every level. No, I think there are two different songs. I think.
Oh, okay. Because I again, I'm not like Nick. The music's great, but I don't super focus on it. But I did note. Okay, banging tune for the. But the only thing I didn't like about that is the running back to the lift wasn't sometimes the most tense part. It was sometimes the easiest part of the game.
Yes.
Because you've done all the annoying things, or you'd closed off the furnace, or it was kind of like, hey, everything's done, let's go back to the lift, more than, quickly, everything's done, we gotta get the lift because we're gonna die. There was none of that to it.
I would like for it to be done slightly better. Like, as you're running towards the lift, the hiss are kind of emerging from the edges of the rooms, instead of just a big horde behind you.
That's what I mean. Again, it's a weird comparison, but Helldivers, when you're waiting for that ship to come down, and then you got that last wave of bugs, and it's tense because you could all die now, and everything's for nothing, right? It just doesn't have that same feeling.
Deep Rock Galactic as well. If you need to get your ass back all the way to the digger, and you've only got 5 minutes, whereas in Firebreak it's unlimited time.
Yeah, it's strange that these things were missing from this. Anyway, tangent off audio. Anything else you'd like to add for the audio in regards to
yes.
Pluses,
I haven't even got started.
Go on.
The voice acting is bland. They've got some interesting lines. I know it sounds a bit cartoonish, but the voices themselves, I've got them down as nondescript dude 1 and 2.
Yeah, agreed.
And nondescript lady 1 and 2.
I even looked at the voice actors. Also, I'm not trying to be mean. They are kind of nondescript. For now, they're nondescript voice actors. They're just people.
I'm sure they were directed. The way as they were, just to have kind of. I can't describe them anywhere else as nondescript.
But it's one of those things.
It's just this masked figure that you project yourself on that shouts some things.
But you sometimes think you can't really blame them, right? Because they probably have man number 2, and that's their script, and I'm man number 2, am I?
Yes, and
it's hard to be energized by that.
For them was to, instead of making character with their own personality, aspirations, flaws, like Alan Wake or Max Payne or Jesse Faden, they wanted Firebreak to be nondescript people that the players could project themselves onto, which Remedy has never done before.
That's true. That's true. It's an interesting way to look at it. That's very true.
And this might just be copium.
Yeah. Young person term. I heard it. I'm there. I'm down. I know what copium is.
But yeah, I mean, the music is fine. It's very little. The voice acting is all right. The one thing that I can truly commend is the sound design.
Okay.
Right? The sound design is great. I'm a big fan. As with most of these multiplayer games, there are loads going on at one time, and your eyes can only focus on one or two things.
True.
That's how eyes work.
Yes, very true.
So the game designers know in order for you to have spatial awareness and know what's going on around you, they need to fix that with sound design, which is why it annoys me so when people kind of turn down the sound and just listen to their favorite streamer talk about toast or ham.
Wow.
Listen to the game.
How did you know my streamers? They're my favorite streamers so well.
Listen to the game.
Agreed,
excuse
agreed.
me, I should not judge how people enjoy their
No,
entertainment.
I say agree, knowing that I didn't used to do that, but I used to play games, as I told you before, without sound on because I was busy with the TV in the background or something like that, right?
I get it. I get it.
And I know now I was genuinely missing out.
Yes.
It is, I lost a part of the gameplay in regards to not listening to what's going on.
It might not have voice chat, which is a step back, but every other sound you hear in game, if you hear that, you can clearly hear when something happened or is happening.
Yes. Yeah.
When you're running and you can hear his growling, you know what's behind you. If you hear heavy footsteps, you know what's behind you. If you hear a minigun, you know what's behind you.
Yeah, no, agreed. It is all there. It's all encompassing in regards to environmental and situational in regards to the noises and the sound effects and stuff, right?
Yes. And it's got audio and visual cues. So when you know a horde is spawning, it's either a big red flash.
That's right.
Or if you don't see that, you can hear where the hiss are spawning.
Yeah.
Audio cues are so extremely important, and people need to realize this.
Agreed. Anything else? Gameplay? Oh no, audio. Sorry.
Audio. That's good.
I am twitching to get into gameplay because.
Then let's do it.
Ladies and gents, this is our biggest gap. I think this might be the biggest gap we've ever had. Because
so as well.
Out of 10, I gave the gameplay 2.
Yep.
And Nick gave it an 8.
I did.
Which now we both look at each other like, what's wrong with you?
Well, a 2.
Did we play a different game?
We might have.
Why does... Okay, let me start. This is a bit a nice back in the to and throw here. The Q&E game, or I think on the... Is it the PlayStation? It's the shoulder buttons in regards to the...
Yes. It's R1 and L1.
Is so boring. It's insane. It's... Again, I felt like it was trying to do Helldivers when you're doing the up, down, left, right, like the terminal.
Well, I mean, there
thing.
are other games that have done it before Helldivers.
True. I obviously just I liked Helldivers, but this game it had no skill at one point. Again, with the PC, it's a bit easier. I was just pressing Q and E like again and again. You didn't really even have to do the. It's not like if you pressed Q instead of E, it went back to the beginning or anything. So you just press the buttons continuously.
What do you mean? You got electrocuted if you needed to charge something?
Or you got electrocuted a bit. It got you, but it didn't kill you. I never died doing that.
I did.
Oh, well, that's a skill issue. Oh, no. Okay. But it was Q and E for everything. Ammo, fixing electrical things, cleaning things, it was just...
Okay. You're right. I got it down here in my notes as well. I just can't find it. Here we go. They should have added more ways for you to do manual tasks instead of just the bumper fest each and every time. I played it on PlayStation, so it was a bumper fest. They should have added more manual tasks. You're right. What if this time it was the bumper fest, and next time it would have been the D-pad directional buttons, and then after that you'd need to follow a frequency with your analog stick.
Exactly.
Or something.
That's fine. Things like that. Like I said, you've mentioned those because you can remember those from other games, right?
Yes.
I'm sure I've seen those too, and that would have at least added like, what's the game this time? Like, oh shit, it's this one, so I got to do this. Or oh damn, this one's this one, so I got to. No, again, you're right. And that's why it got tedious. The things about this gameplay for me got really tedious. I was like, oh, okay, so now I'm gonna go over there and do that, and then do the Q&E game again.
Gotcha. Which makes these things feel a bit more like chores. I get that.
Yes,
but that's not that is only a part of the gameplay going on. The real pressure or the real tension is going on with what's going on behind you as you're doing this.
Yeah,
as you're doing this, there are hiss running up towards you.
Okay, I agree, but out of curiosity, how many times did you get killed by the hiss? Would you say it was frequently? Did you say they were more a nuisance than they were actually killing you? I got killed more by environmental things and the occasional like big hitting hiss
Yeah.
guy. The rest of them were barely doing damage to me.
Yeah,
Especially if you were in
okay,
your...
I agree with you.
If you're in a group
Environmental
of three,
kills
yeah,
got me.
and the shield system.
The big pipe guy got me. Shield
Yes,
system.
the big pipe guy, yeah. The shield system was kind of overpowered if you were all three to do together.
Yes.
Right? It didn't really... I'm trying to think, yeah, the big pipe guy, if he hit you, it kind of killed you. There was the weird bubblegum monster flailing, throwing up thing. That kind of killed you if it got you. That was about it.
Yes.
I'm not entirely
okay.
sure if the floating chair guys hurt you at all.
They do. They throw you with stuff. They manifest things and then throw you with them. I got killed by a couple of them. But
I get the premise.
But anyway.
So you the manicness of what was going on behind you actually made you excited and kind of under pressure in regards to doing these games. So you actually enjoyed it, right?
I could feel the tension. I could feel a bit of the pressure, the franticness. I did. I could feel it. I got to say, because I felt this tension and the bit of pressure around me, I genuinely enjoyed the gameplay loop that Remedy made here. Yes, they could have added more ways to do manual tasks. Yes, they could have added more enemy variety, but the gameplay loop, the core gameplay loop that they created here, when it works extremely well.
So when you did the levels, would it be a hotfix? Was that hotfix?
Yes.
Paper chase.
We
you
got
bored
hotfix,
ever?
paper chase, frequency shift. I forget the rest.
Were you bored ever? Like having to go and fix all the fans and then go to another fan and fix that fan, or having to shoot those limpet things and get the pearls out, but some of them didn't have pearls in, so you had to go find other ones to eventually get the radioactive pearls into the pot.
Yes,
And
I did.
Did you not find? And then you got to do I'll give you that the post-it monster fight at the end, and I don't want to spoil it too much for people. That was fun. That was like, oh damn, okay, so we've got boss fights. This is cool, and it's electricity, and you make it. That was a fun fight. That was like, that literally made me think, oh, okay, so maybe it gets better. Like the first one was a bit boring, second one big post-it monster fight. So the next levels are gonna have like extra layered fights or new monsters. Do you know how disappointing to find out that wasn't the case? that there was nothing. There was I don't know if it was the frequency one. The last mission is you fix the screens onto the weird satellite tripods thing.
Shift.
And then that's it.
And then that's it.
I'm
not going to argue. You're right. That is it. I have it down here. This game has a shortage of content.
Yeah. And again, I read an article that because people like to grind it and get the levels and unlock the skills, people were just kept grinding. I think it was hotfix, because it was the fastest one to get complete, and it was the easiest to get like the bits and the rare samples and stuff to level things up.
Yes. But let me pose you this. Is that a problem with the game, or is that just a problem with what the modern gaming industry has turned gamers into?
I agree. I'd say both. I do get what you mean.
Okay.
To be the first and fastest and strongest and most powerful.
Can you imagine 20 years ago
grinding
a game for optimal loot and then just shitting on the game?
Well, I'm trying to think if there was a premise where I would have done that.
If you didn't enjoy the game, you wouldn't grind. You would just play something else.
That's true. That's very true.
But we've been brainwashed into thinking, no, you need to get the things whether you enjoy it or not, because getting the thing has turned into the game.
The dopamine hit, right?
Exactly. The dopamine hit has turned into completing the battle pass, whether you enjoy the game or not.
That's right. No, I know exactly what you mean in that regard. But gameplay wise, is the skill tree on this was no fun. The skill tree in which you, after 8 levels, you unlocked, I don't know if there was medals or level or things to unlock, but the skill tree bits were just increased health or resistance, or
I just ignored it.
I know, because I think I got to level like as a level of like 15, 16 as a character. But it's still, I unlocked barely anything fun. And all the fun ones are when you reach like level 90 and you unlock all, and you get all the rare samples, and then you get to unlock some of the wacky and comical ones. But the route to get there was pretty long. And again, it's a word that's going to come out, tedious. It was tedious.
That's the long-term game. Remedy, I think, Remedy's not expecting you to grind all 80 levels to get all of those research points with just these 5 levels. They said, play 10 minutes and stop. I think in a year or two, if this game is continually supported and we've got double the levels we have now, then it becomes an option to kind of get there eventually.
Agreed. And you're right, that fundamentally lands on if they keep supporting it and developing for it, which they could. Yes. I think there's a DLC planned, right? I think. Or an addition to the game in some regards.
I think so. I don't know. Maybe.
Because if they do keep, I agree, if they keep adding to it, that means the skill tree is a bit more structurally sound, because you're going to be playing lots of different more levels, and so you don't want to unlock everything straight away, right? So
yes, but
if they keep it the same,
yes, then it's a problem. I totally agree with you. Then it's a problem. And there's also the argument that they should have just released the game with all of the levels they've wanted to make included, if they're really sticking to their guns about keeping this old school multiplayer.
Yes, agreed. I can see that argument. I can see the argument.
Because people are now, as you said, grinding these 5 levels into tedium just to unlock all the research points, which I think goes against the game design Remedy intended for this.
No, I agree. That's like their press kit was to say otherwise. Like they didn't want you to grind it out and put hours upon hours just to get the special skin or unlock the special gun and all that.
And you say to blame is partly Remedy and gamers.
Yes, I think there is a like you said, the toxic aspect to that gaming marketing side of things that's been put into our brains now to look for that a thing in every online game we play, right?
Yeah.
So, and again, it was so, like I said, it was so hard for me not to be bored. And it's I again, to think that you've
bored is a strong word.
It was just so long. It was so long sometimes.
Especially when you've got incompetent teammates.
Yeah, but that's very true. But to be honest with you, I wasn't amazing myself, so I couldn't entirely blame them in that regard. But it's one of those things, ladies and gents, because we want to do a thorough review, I thought to myself, I've got to get through all of these, right? I've got to get, I want to get it all done. I don't have the greatest memory, so I kind of try to get it all done at once, closest to the podcast episode, so I can get it all in and I remember it. So this, again, in that regard, then it was kind of a grind for me, because I made those parameters for myself to kind of get it all in, so I could remember all the little things that I liked and disliked. So it turned into a checklist. Yes, it kind of did. And like you said, it kind of turned into a chore. A lot of the things turned into a chore.
A lot of these levels literally are chores, which I don't like.
Agreed. And that frost one where you get the furnaces and you just put them on the floor, then you have to find another one. And then the very last one is always right at the back at the beginning where you started. So you've got to trek all the way back with one of...
There are better levels than others. Which was your favorite level? Okay, your least unfavorite level.
Yeah, that's literally how I was just thinking. Which one? I liked the whimsy of the post-it notes. And those weird little post-it notes men that would come out the ground and then run away and you had to shoot kind of quickly.
No way. I think that's my least favorite level.
What was your favorite?
Frequency shift.
That's the bubblegum one, right?
That's the bubblegum level. That and the radioactive pearl level. I can't remember the name of that one.
Nor do I. I remember that being just kind of annoying. I remember them being annoyed by that game. Oh, pearls, go grab them. Oh, they're radioactive, so don't grab them for long.
Put them in the cart.
Into the furnace.
Yay.
Hey. And then do it again. And again. Yay.
Okay.
This is the good thing about two perspectives. You can enjoy it. You can not enjoy it. That's one of the best things about the gaming as a thing, right?
Absolutely.
As long as you enjoy it, then keep doing it. Doesn't care. Yeah. Doesn't matter what other people think. So
after I finished reviewing this game, I played it some more because I genuinely enjoyed it.
Wow, I think you might need help. From my perspective, you might need to go get help.
I liked it, and I also liked my class. I was the jump kid first, and then I moved over to the splash kit. What was your kit?
Oh, splash kit, like, all the time, because I just thought the water gun was the handiest in regards to putting out fire, wetting the post-it notes.
Yes.
Even staggered enemies, if you shot them at it, if you wanted to do that. It's great.
You wouldn't think that in a game like this, a water gun would be the most efficient.
Yeah, right. That's right. And like you said, that's kind of comical in its own right, isn't it? In regards to the seriousness of Control.
It's going to be such a sticky wicket if they ever kind of introduce Firebreak in Control 2.
Yeah, it's true. That's
going to be tricky. That's going to be
tricky.
Are they
going to keep it goofy, or are they going to make it super serious?
Yes,
right?
Because Control is serious, but the Firebreak team.
I hope they keep it goofy. Because there's nothing. It's like comic relief in serious movies or in like Shakespeare. You always put comic relief in it because you need it.
I absolutely get what you mean. Control had some comedy.
It did.
Comedy relief. I get what you mean now. I think I'm on. And if there's one studio that would pull this off, it's Remedy.
Oh, agreed. Max Payne had tons of comedy in it. Yeah. Alan Wake got any comedy in it? Out of curiosity. Alan Wake 2 definitely does.
What do you mean? Yes.
I know that.
Yes. Alan Wake had Barry. I don't know about Alan Wake 2, but Alan Wake had Barry.
Oh, you wait. Alan Wake 2 has got some great comedy in it.
Oh,
just so you know. But Barry, Barry was the comic relief in Alan Wake 1, right?
That's right. Loads of people found him annoying. I didn't. I like Barry.
Oh, well, again. Excuse me. Okay, anything else gameplay you want to talk about?
Just the final point once again.
Yeah.
I like the mad dash at the end. That's my favorite part. And this is Remedy's first foray into multiplayer games.
That is very true.
Right?
Kind of really
how many single player games did they make before Alan Wake 2? Tons.
Yeah, a good handful. Like some of them,
I don't know, 6, 7,
it's true.
Something like that.
You're right that this is your first go. It's a very competitive market to kind of jump into, by all accounts.
It
right?
is. I think the grind mindset that gamers have adopted, thanks to corporations, thank you corporations, has soured the experience that this game could have been for these players.
So just you saying that again, I remember, wasn't it just quite recently that Call of Duty or something like that had a double experience weekend? And then something happened to the servers on that weekend in regards to Modern Warfare, and people went nuts because they'd planned the double XP grind and they'd ruined their weekend and everything like that. I remember thinking, "Whoa,
isn't that just
that's an extreme reaction to just an accident somewhere."
Not just that, but these people's lives have been. Oh, come on.
But it was comical when Fortnite went down and all those kids were like just losing their minds. I must admit I found that comical. Anyway,
what corporations have turned gamers into is maddening.
That's true. It's true.
Anyway.
Again, another thing that we kind of split in regards was performance.
Yes, I think this might have been because you and I played this on 2 different platforms.
Oh, very much so. Yeah, I played on Steam. Or no, not Steam. Game Pass. Sorry, they just all blend into the same with me.
And I got this through PS Plus on PS5.
The only problem I had is sometimes, you know, when you could play a level solo to start off with and you'd wait for some matchmaking?
Yes.
Yeah, I never got match made, so it was just me.
Same! Same. This is just, I got this down here that I would constantly get into a match that just had one other person when I was looking for a match. And when I started my own game, I would eventually get one person to join and they'd leave and I'd not get match made with anyone else for the entirety of that game.
Yeah, I did that quite a lot. But it's quite funny because I'm a bit of an introvert. I found nothing wrong with that. I was like, all right, I'll play it on my own. That's kind of my comfort zone.
What's the point of matchmaking?
I know, I agreed. It didn't seem to work that well. It really didn't.
What's the point?
It got
Some
to the
of these
point
levels, I signed up for level 3.
Yeah.
And I'd get there solo, and then I'd be unable to do anything else because it's too intense. It's too much.
Yes, for one person. Yeah,
for one person, exactly. If I just had one other person here with me, it'd be doable. We'd get to the elevator, exit. Great. I would get my resources.
I know that some people, I don't know if it was on Reddit or something, would actually go on live and post the room codes so that two people could use the room codes and log on to the PlayStation and play together. Because the matchmaking just wasn't working by all accounts.
Makes complete sense.
Was that the big problem for you in regards to performance in this game?
No. The big issue I had, well, I also had some enemies would slightly glitch out of place, right? For a split second and they'd be back. I don't know if that's server lag or something, but my big problem was, I don't know if it's my internet.
Yeah, we do live
or
in
if
South
it's
Africa.
the servers. Yeah. But my party kept disbanding in my games, and my games kept disconnecting to the point where I tried playing a game 3 or 4 times, and each time the party would disband mid-match.
Oh, no, and you lose everything in that regard, right?
Exactly. I just want to play my game. I came to the point, I don't care about the resources. I just want to play a game and finish it. I reset my router in between, and since then, it's happened on and off.
That's really weird. Like I said, I did it on the Game Pass, didn't have that problem. We had a few people rage quit and the like, but nothing like mid-game. It was always after the game or before the game in regards to... Yeah, that sounds strange because, we do live in South Africa, but the internet here isn't insane. You can online game pretty solidly without any problems, right? It's not...
Yeah.
It's not a common issue that things would break out or people would drop out like that. So I'm guessing that's a server issue to some regards.
Maybe.
If it is,
I hope they fix it. If it's not, it's my internet. I don't know.
You got to remember that you were having a good time and it dropped out. Could you imagine if it happened to me? I'm like the 3rd room and I've got the 16th pearl to chuck into the thing and then it just kicked out with the. I would have probably potentially rage quit in that regard.
I can absolutely imagine. I didn't enjoy the performance of this game mainly because of the servers.
Yeah, I think
and the matchmaking.
Which all can be fixed fundamentally. I don't know. I haven't really heard much from Remedy in regards to the game, but they might be patching it and fixing these things out. I haven't seen anything yet.
Majority of the problems I have with games aren't performance based. Yeah. It's mainly around game design and if they make bad gameplay loops or something.
Oh yes, which this game
because if it's a game design around it being fun and turning into a wholesome connected experience, fantastic. I can put up with performance issues.
Yes, agreed. You that's right. It's a lot easier to wave it off, right? In regards to, well, that was a blast anyway.
Exactly. Yeah. But if the game design and game loop is created to be slightly predatory, just take your time, your attention, and confuse you into eventually spending money.
Yeah, gotcha.
Exactly. Yeah. I cannot get on board with that.
No.
Or just games clearly created by a committee for you to buy them because they think you're a big dumb slug.
Wow. There you go. Value for money, what did you think?
This is definitely not worth $40.
Yes, exactly.
Absolutely not.
We're back on track. We're back on the right mode. Exactly right. $40.
It's a lot. It's too much for this. If you have $40 for a game and you want this type of experience, go buy Helldivers 2.
That's what I mean. There are so many good games for $40 that you can get out there and have a good time on. Now, this game did come, I say free, did become part of the subscription for Game Pass.
Included.
And the PlayStation.
It's included. People need to start using the word included.
Included in, which is good because I can only imagine only 6 people actually bought it for $40 because
that's the perfect way to play this game.
Yes.
PS Plus and Game Pass is the perfect way to play this game. Included in your subscription. It's got a big old install base. People are playing this already. But buying this for $40? No.
I genuinely don't know why they put it on for $40. They should have been a free game. Or at least a trial or something. The idea that Xbox, Microsoft get it part of it and placing it for, if you're on Steam, $40 please. $40 is so much money to...
It is a lot. I think 25, maybe 30.
Yeah. Well, somebody pointed out, if pure gameplay, there's 2.5 hours until you complete everything.
That's right.
Which is a bit...
That's right.
2.5 hours is just...
It is.
I'm trying to think...
It is. But I mean...
It's like the tutorial of a Japanese RPG is 2.5 hours.
Not even. It's the title sequence of a Japanese
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah, it's the cutscene at the very beginning, right?
No, what I mean is... if you're playing purely just to get to the end of all the levels, yes, that's 2.5 hours.
Yes.
But I think that's a bit shallow. I think that's very single-minded to think about it like that. And also just this grind set mindset.
It is.
That corporations have drilled into gamers. If you enjoy the gameplay loop, you can play this game and have a good time with your buddies for 30 hours.
Agreed. And that's
Right?
Helldivers had that for me. The game, and I know yourself, you enjoyed it. The gameplay was so much fun, and later on you said, "Oh crap, samples and stuff. I can unlock this. Oh, I can unlock this barrage."
Not just
and
that.
Stuff like that.
I mean, let's be let's call a spade here. If you play a bug level in Helldivers 2 and you played an automaton level in Helldivers 2, you've seen all the content.
That's valid. That is actually completely valid. You're absolutely right. You're right.
And that, I think, is less than 2.5 hours.
That's true. You're doing the same little missions and stuff again and again as well, right? You are just blowing up
But the game is good. The gameplay loop is some of the best I've ever seen. Helldivers 2 is incredible. But we don't say that for Helldivers 2 because people love that game.
Rightfully so. But that's a very good point. You're right. Content-wise, Helldivers doesn't really have that much more in it than this. It's a bit more...
Now it's changed, though. Agreed.
Yes,
now
it's got a few more factions and stuff like that. But no, it's a valid point altogether. And that's... Again, I found it boring, but if I found it more fun, then that content, that 2.5 hours isn't crazy, right?
Also agreed. If you don't find it fun, if you don't connect with the gameplay loop, this game simply isn't for you.
Exactly.
Not every game needs to be the game to trounce all games.
Exactly, which is kind of what the industry wants it to be, right? You're always comparing it to a game or this game.
Everything needs to be Fortnite. It needs to be GTA.
Exactly.
No.
Well, okay, in the long run, what did we score this bad boy then?
Oh man, our scores for FBC Firebreak, unfortunately, we don't know what they are because they're still under lockdown in the Federal Bureau of Control. Director Jessie Faden's doing her absolute best to lift the lockdown with the help of her staff members. But we've not really heard anything from her since because the janitor Artie has disappeared, which is genuinely tragic.
Yes, very much so.
But we scored it a D.
It is a D, and I'll put forward that's not a bad score for this game. Our scores weren't too far out because my gameplay was low, but your performance was low, so it wasn't too bad. And again, one of these things visually you can't score it low. It's okay. Narrative.
It's fine. You're right. The narrative.
You can't expect big narratives from an online game, so it's hard to give that a 0 because it's not like you can compare it to another one that does it. So it's not bad. D's not bad. Hopefully it gets better.
This game lives and dies on its gameplay because that's what's gonna determine if you play this game for 30 minutes or 30 hours.
Yeah, and any additional gameplay they may add to it later.
Exactly.
In regards to fine-tuning and stuff like that.
I would, and I'm the big statement. I would play FBC Firebreak for 20 more hours.
See, that's when I start to worry and I start phoning up the psychologists. Get the family health care. You need some help, Nick.
It's because I connect with the gameplay loop.
No, I got
and
you.
It doesn't need to be more. It doesn't need to be. Yes, there is a shortage of content, but because I connect with the gameplay loop,
that's true.
Like
you're having a good
gamers
time.
did with old school games and old school multiplayer games, you could play this with your friends for 20 hours. You could.
Easy.
It doesn't need to be a grind set.
That's very true. And again, like we said before, like it, don't like it. That's the fun thing about these things. It's opinions. It doesn't hugely matter on the grand scale of things. Like it, enjoy it, go nuts, hate it, burn it. It doesn't really matter. Just enjoy gaming as it is, right?
Exactly.
It's a fun thing to be involved in.
That is what's most important. But don't pay $40 for this game.
No, not $40. Never $40.
We can agree on that.
Wait for a Steam sale or whatever's coming up next.
Yeah. Or play it included in your subscription. That I think is the best way to play this game.
Oh, easy. Moment. Yes, agreed. Or like you said, just if somebody's got the subscription, play it on there. It's not that hard to just use their account to some degree.
But anyway, thanks for listening to this episode of the Critical OK podcast. You could leave us a like. You could subscribe. You could review. You could tell a friend about our show. please tell your friends about our show, please. And do all the other things as well. I can't remember what I said, but do the rest. And after you've done all that, you can try and follow Dave. Dave, how can they follow you?
Well, you can follow me out and about, and I was going to say this, but it's kind of mean. If you follow me out and about, I'll make you play some Firebreak for like 5 to 6 hours. But
I'm going to follow you then.
That's not really a fair statement to say. So, if you do follow me out and about, I do have on my person at least 200,000 post-it notes, and I will cover you in post-it notes from head to toe, and then spin you round and round and just push you out into the traffic and see how well you survive. By all accounts, if you want to take that risk and spin in the death of post-it note nightmare, then by all means, follow me, see what happens.
Thankfully, post-it notes were made to be quite fluorescent.
That's true. You might still like, right, God, maybe it just works.
So the traffic would see you.
Yeah, maybe this is the worst one I've made. Maybe this one's actually quite safe, and they just go outside and cars will drive round them and they make to the other side of the road and just give me the finger.
You started with one that I would actually do, and then you ended with one that's
true,
lukewarm.
Right? It was. It's right. Well, maybe it's you're changing. It's changing my mind about this game that's cheered me up. I want to say just play Firebreak for 6 hours. That would be torturous enough, but that's just my opinion.
No, it's fun. Okay. Rather before we get into this again, how would you tell us what have we got lined up for next week, Dave?
Okay. Next week's game, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, next week's game. How did I forget? It's the game that everyone's kind of talking about. It's the A Walk to Remember. It's Death Stranding 2 on the beach.
You know what? I think I'm gonna love this game. That's such a dumb name.
Do you know what makes me laugh? Have you ever watched? I doubt it because you've not watched any movie, but you have heard of the Barbie movie, right? The whole Barbenheimer. And there's a big thing where Ken goes, "Let's fight on Malibu Beach." And it's the only thing I can get sticks in my head when I see that. I can just see the Kens fighting on the beach and Death
on the beach.
They've now blended into like a Barbie Death Stranding blend in my head now.
Oh, that's funny.
It is kind of I get the beach reference because of Death Stranding 1.
Yes.
It is kind of a weird name for it though.
It's not. It doesn't have that. I don't know, cool factor like Firebreak or Night Rain.
We'll say that now, play the game and be like, whoa, on the beach.
Oh, best game ever.
Oh, it was so many levels. It was so big-brained.
Kojima did it again.
Yeah, it's true. It's possible. It is really possible with those games. So yeah, we look forward to, of course, going into that. It's going to be great.
Absolutely. Check back in next week to listen to our thoughts on Death Stranding 2 on the beach. And we'll see you then. Cheers.
Cheers.